All right, everybody. I'm so excited. I hope you all had a fabulous weekend. I'm just beyond excited for this moment because, I'm going to share with you a little bit about where this came from. So, this is our forum. So, welcome, community members. We're so thankful to have you. And I'm super excited because I was chatting with my colleagues and we were at the front desk division and we were like, you know what? Like, we need to do a forum, but we need to do a forum that isn't just a regular forum. We want it to be a forum that is real talk, meaning real talk, real solutions, the pains, the struggles, the things that we're running into at the front desk, or even the things that we're running into as owners, managers, and leaders. We all know, and we've heard this 1,000 times before, that when you get to the top, it can be lonely. Well, I'm here to challenge that mindset because I don't think we have to be lonely. I think that we have the best and the brightest people in the industry with the summit community, and we have each other to be able to talk about these things. And that's why I'm super excited to have this forum, to bring it to all of you. And I just really want to say thank you guys for being a part of this. And these are our partners that, if not all of you, have at least one of these brands in here. And with no further ado, I want to introduce you to my amazing colleagues. So this is the front desk division, and lucky for y'all, we've got pretty much the entire front desk division on this call today. What I love about having all of us on this call is the fact that we cover everything from being owners, managers, stylists, boutiques. We're consultants. We're kind of ones that are doing a lot of the things. And did I mention that we're doing PDMs, and some of us are even working at the front desk still with our own companies or other companies that we serve. So we're going to give it to you straight. We're going to give it to you honest, but we're going to help you see some other things that are happening in our industry. And we really just picked some topics that we thought, okay, this is what we see. So if you could, Tia, if you could just say hello.
Hi everyone, I'm Tia.
And can you tell us where you're from?
I am from Kokomo, Indiana, so about an hour from Indianapolis area.
Awesome. Thank you. LaShonda, could you introduce yourself as well?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I'm LaShonda Hall. I am from Texas. Yeah, I'm from Texas.
Love that. Miss Carrie, could you also?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Carrie, and I live in South Carolina in the Charleston area.
Love that. Welcome. Rose?
Hi, I'm Rose Catrone. I am in Lyndhurst, New Jersey, which is North Jersey. It's like 30-minute train ride to New York City.
I love that. And Juliana? Oh, you're muted.
Forgot. Hi, everyone. My name is Juliana. Good morning. I am from California.
Oof, it is early for her. And then last but not least, we also have Tiffany, and she is actually from Florida market. She isn't on this call today, but she is also one of our consultants. And then, of course, my name's Jules, and I am from Ohio. So let's get started. All right. So the first thing I want you to kind of think about, these are the ideas of what we want you to expect. This is the real thing that we want to talk about. Top challenges that we're having. Is it in, like recruitment, motivation and coaching? Consistency is the name, best practices, and plans of actions. These are the topics that we're going to cover. Now, my hope is that we can cover almost all of these topics today. However, depending on what kind of questions you guys ask, we might be coming in clutch with a part 2 series. If that's what you guys need, we're happy to help support and serve. Okay, let's get right into it. And I'm excited because my colleague Rose is going to be sharing all about this topic, and it's called recruitment. So I'm going to share this slide right over. I'm going to put myself on mute. And Rose, do you want to go ahead and take it away?
Yes. So the big thing with recruitment now, I think that we've all, can agree that it's hard to find people nowadays. And I think that that's like the piece that kind of freaks us all out in a lot of ways too, because it's like we can't find people. We are trying Indeed, we're trying all the latest and the greatest things. But what we have found is that there's actually some new ways that we're finding quality people, and it's how we're basically getting the reach out differently. I think that we can all agree also that we've been posting things on social. We know how important social is. The problem is that the with social media is that we're finding that we're just posting to our pages. And when we post to our page, who are we really reaching out to? We're reaching out to our followers. That's not necessarily the market that we're looking for. So one of the things that we want to do is really go into the idea of going into reels. So reels are the new way to do pretty much anything on social media, because you are going to be reaching out not only to your people, as in your followers, but you're actually expanding it outside of the followers. And the reason why is actually because our lovely friend who owns Facebook, Mark, he started to notice that Instagram was becoming more and better and bigger than what he was with Facebook. Like Facebook was old news. That's for our parents, our grandparents. So he decided to buy Instagram. Instagram was hot. Then guess what came along? TikTok. Then TikTok was getting way more attention than Instagram. So what Mark decided to do was create Reels. And Reels is really important because he wants to be just as great as TikTok. So it's actually getting more share. So it's showing up on more For You pages. So if we do a reel about hiring, if we do a reel about opportunities in our salon company, anything that we're trying to get out into the universe, guess what? We're going to get way more attention. So making a reel about hiring is really important. We want people to also see the vibe. This next generation and the younger millennials are really looking for vibes. So this is something that I think is like really important as well, is making sure that people can see what it's like to work in your company, to see the people that are part of your company, to really almost imagine themselves being part of that company as well. So that's a big piece with our recruitment that has changed, and something that many of the salons that I serve are seeing a big difference in us getting more, quality people. And that's the big piece. Anything else that you want to add, Jules? I figured just a little snippet is good. Oh, you're muted, Jules.
Thank you. I think that's absolutely great. And what I would like to do real quick with this is I would love to just kind of open this conversation up when it comes to recruitment, right? Can we kind of chat about what that's looking like? What are the top challenges? And really, what are the top challenges that you all as salon owners and managers are running into that we can help support you in? So I'm just going to have you unmute yourself and just share with me your top challenges. Okay. Well, if we don't have any things that are coming up, another thing that I'd love to just kind of pair share on when it comes to recruitment, like Rose had even shared, was one of the top things that we're running into is making sure that when we do those things in recruitment, remember that people first, recruitment is a long-term process of building a relationship, not a cold impersonal transaction. And when you're recruiting, this is really going to be the key for that, which is keeping in mind that you need to always be looking for that front desk team member. Never stop.
Jules, one of the things that I've heard, and I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this, but Indeed is not working quite as well as it used to. Specifically you'll do Indeed stuff and then you'll get like maybe 100 applicants. And then out of that, there's only like 10 to 15. Rose, can you speak a little bit about that whole aspect?
Yeah, so I think, the other thing that we all have been doing is we're also not finding that people are showing up for these interviews. So a lot of us have changed to Zoom interviews or group interviews, because with Indeed, we're finding that challenge where we're not necessarily getting the people to come in that are applying. So with doing things like our, group interviews or doing Zoom interviews, we're finding that we're able to, at least as, owners, managers, leaders, our time's super valuable. And, making that time and not having somebody show up is really damaging in a lot of ways, because it's like we just put that time aside. So by doing things like group interviews, doing the Zoom interviews, we can kind of manage that. If we don't have everybody show up, we're only having this one time that we're, utilizing for it. And like with the Zooms, kind of the same thing. We can be wherever we need to be and be able to just pause and hop on that Zoom. So there's ways that we have gone through that. With Indeed, I think it's important that we're actually advertising for the right type of position. A lot of times they're advertising in that, salon position, and we're not going to get the right people, because if we're advertising as a salon, we're only going to get people who are basically looking for a receptionist position.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the key things that we can do with Indeed is, market it more as a sales position, market it as if, somebody is going to work at like Sephora or Target or one of those places, because that's more of, first of all, the budget that we can support. Because if somebody's looking for a receptionist position, we're talking like medical receptionist, and they're going to be, making a lot more money than we can budget. So by marketing to the right group of people in Indeed, we can get better results. But I think, trying this raw way of doing Instagram and Reels has really been more successful.
I think that's a beautiful way of explaining that. I know that I've been coaching it this way too, is that you've really got that 24 to 48 hours. We all know this that are hiring people, to capture these people. And the days of us sending like an email back and forth, those days are over, like gone. So what she's saying too is like on that Instagram, like Instagram needs to become, those reels need to become your friends. 100%. A hot tip that I'm doing too is like, as soon as I see, I'm always looking for my brand of who I feel like would be a great fit for our salon company, sliding right into their DM. I have in my notes section verbiage that I use. I copy and paste it into their DMs. And right in that moment, I'm getting interaction immediately. And typically within like 20 minutes or so, 30 max, I've got an interview already set up. So quick. But if I wait 24 hours, 48 hours, and I wait for like somebody to respond back to an email, that's not going to happen. It's one, email feels almost archaic to this next generation, right? And so I think that's the biggest thing is if you want this dream team front desk, you have to be the one that's going to go out and find that dream team. They will not just come to you because they have a lot of choices. And so what are we going to do that is going to make us feel like we're the ones that are almost like dating them? Like we are like wanting them to be a part of our company. And I'm seeing a huge movement of this where even salon companies where, you might think that, well, I'm a well-known company in our market and in our area and everyone knows us. So like, we're going to be the first pick. It's like, no, that's not the truth anymore. They want people who want to passionately pursue them to work in their companies because they know what they're bringing to the table and they're ready to sit at the table. But if you're not inviting them to that table, they're not going to just come and sit there.
Well, and I think too, it's like the market, like we hear it from everywhere about how hard it is to find people nowadays. So we have to be fast because there's a bunch of other companies and other industries that are like, we need people too. So it's like, if we're not quick, we're going to miss out on those people. And then the second thing that I would say along the lines of that too, when we're talking about our, just like our response time and like making sure that we're fitting our industry as well, and the millennials and like all these people that are really wanting to know the vibes. It's kind of like when I talk about guests, it's like guests aren't really coming to our salons because they're beautiful. There's lots of beautiful salons. People aren't working for us because our aesthetic necessarily. That's part of it, but it's more of who we are and what we believe in. So I think that that's a piece too that sometimes we're missing when we're trying to market out to these future employees, is who are we? Like, what do we believe in? Is that something that they want to stand by as well? These next generations are more about like what we believe in and wanting to be part of that community, not necessarily just a job. So it's more a movement that they're looking for. So if you're really involved in the community, like those are things that you need to present as well when you're talking about what you provide in your company for not just your people, but people outside of the company.
Love that. Love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, what we're going to lead right into is like the next topic that we kind of all chatted about. We're like, woof, this one is something that, we struggle with. And I want to kind of touch base on the motivation and coaching, whether it's, in this moment, we're going to really talk about the challenges and the difference and what we need to do and tracking and all of those different things. So one of my colleagues is going to jump in on this one as well and kind of share their views around this.
Okay, so motivating and coaching. One of the things that I would love to ask, if you can kind of think about, as I'm talking into this topic, what are some of your top challenges with motivation and coaching? What's the difference between motivation and coaching? And kind of when do you need what? Like, when do you need motivation versus when do you need coaching? I want to talk a little bit about daily huddles and the importance of that with your motivation and coaching. And then, of course, the front desk tracking system, which is the tool that we use to support motivation and coaching your guest service staff. So when we think about top challenges, some of the top challenges that we've had in our salon company have been just getting people to actually work while they're in the front. So I don't know if you all are like our salon company. Just we're hiring these beautiful young souls in the front of our company, and they're great. But what's happening, and just some of the things that we're finding, is people are just up there like standing, or they grab a stool from somewhere and they just sit, whether it's a table or a stool or whatever. They're kind of sitting behind the desk and not being very interactive with the guest. So if that's one of your challenges, in the chat box, just let me know. Type yes in the chat box if that is something that you've experienced. If you want to talk about that or have a point, just unmute and tell me what one of your top challenges are. And I'll give you a second to do that. Awesome. Kathy, that's something that you experience. So one of the things that I've learned about just people not working when they're at the front desk or sitting at the front desk is they often need a cheerleader. They need someone to kind of start that shift off with heavy motivation. And that's where actually your daily huddles come in. We all know that it's super hard to always shift two people on each shift. So one of the things that I would strongly suggest, have whoever releases them into their shift, that person needs to be some sort of a cheerleader. That's going to be your person who starts the shift with a daily huddle, just debriefing them on what's going on for the day. Some of the things that I put on my debrief at the front desk as I'm getting acquainted with that person who's working that like 5 to 9, one of the things that I would do is I would talk to them about just simple to-dos, like if we needed to call someone back or I didn't get done with confirmation calls. I would include things like that on there. But most importantly, I would cover scripts for the day. So talking about what my product script is for the day, what my check-in script is for the day, and just what I'm pushing as far as retail, like if we have promotions. So just super simple things that I'm saying to each guest. I would take just a few moments to rehearse that with the person that's jumping on for their next shift. That way they don't come into a lot of chaos, right? And let's just say something really weird did happen, your registers aren't balanced. Just encouraging those people in that shift change to have the desk ready for the person who comes up next. So that way they don't start their shift with a lot of chaos. If you aren't currently using the front desk tracking system and you need some support on that, please reach out to one of us. This tool is vital for helping every single person walk in with a plan. Someone in the comments said they don't have such a problem with sitting as on cell phones during slow periods. So one of the ways that I encourage the lack of cell phone use or or actual cell phone use is you cannot be on your phone heavily if you are not creating some sort of social media content for the salon company. So if there is downtime and we do need some support with social media, I may have the guest service team shoot a reel or create a post for social media. If not, cell phones, we do kind of police those a bit. And sometimes by policing, what you'll have to do is there has to be some leader, typically on shift, that kind of makes laps through the salon. So throughout the day, whether we're all behind the chair or not, I encourage someone from the leadership team to kind of make laps through the salon and check on the guests, check on the guest service team, just kind of, I don't know, pull some products up to the front, dust a little bit, like spend a little bit of time actually taking laps through your salon. So that way you can do a temperature check throughout the salon to kind of make sure things are flowing. And if people are like FaceTiming during their shift or doing other things like homework on the computers and things like that, just like constantly telling that team that those aren't things that are okay. So reiterating what the rules are, right? Front desk meetings monthly, those are things that I talk about too, right? And if in that daily huddle, if I say, hey, I'm noticing that a lot of people are on their phones in the front, let's remember this isn't part of the brand promise that we deliver in the front of our salon. We are to be focused on the guest. Let's talk a little bit about why cell phones are a challenge at the front. And so that way, if let's just say the owner or leaders are texting them through their shifts, those are things that we would want to know, right? If they are just being kind of caught up on their cell phones, we talk about that and we talk about why we can't be on our cell phones constantly. So my encouragement for that is leaders, owners, managers, make laps throughout the salon just to do like a temperature check and create momentum around the vibe. So that people don't want to be on their cell phones. And then also redefining what those downtime duties look like, super important. Cool. Jules, you want to pop in and add on?
Yeah, no, one thing that I thought was really great on this topic that we chatted about was, as leaders, we really don't know the difference between motivation and coaching. And, I know we've talked a lot about that. And, if we're not getting the results that we're wanting to, I think there is a difference between understanding what motivation is and what coaching is. I actually looked up the definition. LaShonda, do you still have that on you? Or you want me to just share it while I got it?
Share it, please.
Awesome. So this is really, really kind of cool. So coaching and motivation are related, but they're different concepts. And I think we first, as leaders, need to remind ourselves that they are different concepts. Coaching involves guiding and developing individuals or teams to improve their skills, knowledge, performance. On the other hand, Motivation involves creating an environment that inspires, encourages people to take action based on the vision you as a leader want to take them. And I think that's a really big part, because I know myself that I might be thinking that I am motivating people, but really what I need to be doing is coaching that person. And so I think as leaders and salon managers and owners, we also need to look back and understand that our teams need both of those things. But depending on what you need as their leader, does that require coaching or does that require motivation? You know, then let's use phones, right? That's a great concept on that one, right? So coaching would be setting guidelines and guiding them, developing them how to use that tool to improve their skills, their knowledge, and their performance. That would be coaching. Motivating them would be something a little bit different, which would involve them creating an environment to inspire or encourage them to take action. So maybe that's working on a reel. That would be motivating them. And I just thought that was a really, really unique concept between, because I personally didn't even know, I knew there was a difference, but I didn't know what the difference was. And then it caused me to kind of look back and think, okay, maybe I've been coaching them too much, or maybe I've been not motivating them, or maybe I need to do both. And when do I need to do both? Right? We can't change others, but we can change ourselves. And that's the biggest thing that I took away from this segment, was that, like, what do I need to change about the way that I am leading the team when it comes to coaching, motivation, huddles, and all of those different things? Is there anything anyone wants to like add to that, to the motivation and coaching pieces? Give me a thumbs up if you do. All right.
My last point about motivation is, don't get tired of motivating your staff. If you are tired of motivating them, they feel it. You have to, I do this little daily thing where I kind of get my mind right and set myself up for the day. I know I need food, I know I need exercise, and I need either coffee or water. So I'm very mindful to do all of the things that I need to do in order to walk through the doors of the salon company. And I have high motivation, although I'm behind the chair mostly. I have to have high motivation because there's times that I pivot and I'm coaching and motivating the guest service team within a shift also. So take care of yourself, be super energetic, and that's how you increase the motivation with the people amongst yourself.
Wow, so good. All right, so we went right into the next segment here, and this third segment is really all about our consistency. So really having some strong consistency, you know, chop challenges when it comes to consistency as well. You know, Tia's going to kind of chat even more about what this looks like. So.
All right, guys. So we hear it all the time. How do we get them to be consistent with our systems? How do we know that they're always giving that great experience to our guests, that they're always asking about the retail, that they're always double checking to make our guests have their next reservations secured, things like that. So I love that this follows LaShonda, because I feel like it goes right in there with the motivation and coaching. So it's perfect. If you have some challenges that you feel like help, type them in the chat bar so that we can touch on those, because we all have those in this department, I feel like. So here's some great things. Incentives for our front desk. We do things all the time for the rest of our service providers. We do all kinds of fun little programs, fun little games, competitions, things like that. But a lot of times we miss the mark with our front desk team members and are not doing it for them as well. So there are some beautiful things that we can do for our front desk team as well. That's also going to help with our consistency. We have things like front desk bingo. It is just like your regular bingo card, guys, except geared to the front desk. So we can make up this beautiful bingo for the front desk team, and they love it. They love competing against each other, but it also gets them doing the things that they already do. It's just keeping in check that they're doing it regularly. It happens all the time that our guests that are our regular guests come in all the time, they get the worst of us. Unfortunately, they should be getting the best of us because they are our regulars, but they get the worst of us. We're not getting that consistency there. So they're hearing us say it to new guests because we want to impress them and we want to make their experience beautiful, and they're wondering why they're not getting it. So a fun game like bingo. Also things like consistency tracker. We have our front desk tracker, which is tracking if they're making additional service offerings, if somebody took that. It's tracking if somebody sold a gift card. But what if we added a consistency tracker that we want to focus on this month? So let's say for this month, we want to focus on our 4-step check-in. So we're going to have a consistency tracker up there with our 4-step check-in, and we can make it a fun game around it too. So we can do whoever does the most 4-step check-ins today, you're going to get a $5 Starbucks card. We all know that a coffee gift card fuels most of us. Or whoever did the most 4-step check-ins this month, we're going to do a $20 gas gift card. Guys, fuel prices are crazy. Who would not want a $20 gas gift card? But on top of there, we've made it fun. We've made it fun and interactive for everybody by keeping a little game of it, making a competition, but we're also tracking our consistency at the same time. So we can see, okay, we think we're doing a 4-step check-in all the time, but we showed and we maybe did 100 of them in a month. We all know that we see way more than 100 guests in our salon companies a month. Service providers, we get the same way. We get in our routine, and our front desk does the same thing. So let's track it and see. Whereas we think that we are asking every single guest if they want to secure their next reservation, but we did this fun consistency tracker and we realized we weren't. It's a way to get consistency at the front desk, but to make it fun and make it something they want to do. Because they're going to come to their PDM and say, yes, I do that all the time. I ask every guest if they want an additional service offering. Okay, great. But you only did 2 of them. I promise you did not ask every guest in the company and only 2 said yes. I have a rule that says you have to get 10 no's to get 1 yes, which still means there is a higher number than 2 there. So we're either not tracking it or we're not consistent in it. So let's make it fun. You track it and I'm going to reward on the same level. Because we think we're doing it every single time, and then I'm going to come back to that PDM and you're going to be like, okay, so you were right. I wasn't doing it every time. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm going to meet you right where you're at, and we're going to say, now, what can we do to do better? How can we do better on this? And we're going to focus on that, and we're going to grow from that. And then we're going to do a fun game. So next month, we're going to track our 4-step checkout and see the consistency just builds and builds. And then we're going to get a month where it's like, okay, something's not quite right. What are we missing here? And we're going to dig a little deeper and find out, I was doing this really well for a while because we were tracking it, but then we stopped because our challenge was over. We're not doing it anymore. And it's easy to fall off that track. We all know how easy that can be, especially holidays are coming, so it got busier, and we just wanted to get everybody through. Okay, that's okay. We're going to start again. So these are just some fun things we can do with consistency to make sure, because it takes a while to get in that habit. So if we are constantly doing things like this and revolving the solutions for it, yes, we're going to fall off, but then we're going to get right back into it. Whether it means, okay, well, we have to bring out bingo again, or we have to do another competition again, something to get the energy hype up there. Everybody loves a good competition. And these are ways that just help focus on individual sections for our company of what we really need to work on, whether it is that 4-step checkout, whether it is a salon tour. What is it on our company that our challenges are the most with consistency?
Love these conversations. I think they're so, so solid. You know, what I'd like to do real quick, is as you guys think about all the things that we're talking about, try not to start taking all the content in and being like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to do this, 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 this. Like, that is not the intention of this conversation. But we do have to have something as a plan of action. And so I'm going to challenge you to, as you look at all of your notes, I just want you to go into your notes and do 3 things: A, B, and C. And you're just going to mark in your notes. A is, okay, I'm going to tackle that first. That's the first thing I need to, take on under my wings. Okay. Then your B projects are the things like, okay, once I've mastered A, I'm going to now go into B. And C is sometimes the thing that might feel the most challenging, or it might feel the most difficult thing for you to do, but you're going to get to it. It's just not going to be right away. And start to look at all the content that we're teaching you in this moment and really just take bite-sized pieces so that you can have wins along the way. Maybe the win right now needs to be that, I'm going to make an initiative to start doing some recruitment through Reels. And here's the deal. You have amazing people in your companies and in your organizations. Y'all, phone a friend. If you have somebody who is like really into that and is great at it, and you are like, man, I'm so inspired by that, ask them to be a part of that conversation with you. The more that we create a sense of community in our own organizations, the more likely that we are going to retain our people. And we say this at Summit all the time, which is this: like, we are not the smartest people in the room. If you are the smartest person in that room, you need a bigger room, right? So pulling people in that are great at the things that you maybe are not yet is okay. That's actually, being vulnerable with them is going to be really, really important. I'm sure that all of you can attest to those. So here's what I want us to do. I just want us to have a quick little pause. And in our chat box, I just want to know, what is your biggest aha that you've had so far? Let's go ahead and put it in the chat box. What our biggest aha? So what is your biggest aha? Ooh, yeah, that you had said recruitment has been one of the biggest things for you. All right. So next, what we're going to slide right into there, as you guys are kind of putting some more things into that chat box, we're going to lead right into sales meetings. And in our sales meetings, the biggest thing here is, we know that the front desk is an expense, right? And it's actually really expensive for us to have, because we need the support, but yet, it's expensive for us to have, especially with the hourly wages changing and evolving, right? So what we need to think about with this is, the biggest thing we need to lean in on with a sales meeting is, why do we do them? right? Like, what is the purpose of them? And I'm probably going to call on a couple of my colleagues because I know that, we've coached and we do these in our own companies or organizations that we support and serve. What would you say, Carrie, I'm going to put you on the spot, but what would you say are some of the top challenges? And to give you guys a little feedback, Carrie is one of our consultants. She's also a front desk coach as well. She's a hybrid, which is real cool too. But what would you say are some of the top challenges when it comes to sales meetings at the front desk?
I think that some of the top challenges are one, communication between the stylist or the service providers in the salon company with the front desk, and communicating, what they want to have their guests taking home for the day, right? So that would be a part of the morning powwow that we talked about in the beginning. Planning the day, making sure that everyone's on the same page together, and creating sales plans based on that, what the stylists are going to offer their guests to take home for the day. Right.
I think those are all great conversations too. And it's like, we often sometimes think like when we're working with front desk team members, like they're young or they're old, and we think like they don't know how to have goals or plans, or we create these narratives around who they are. And I just think like we need to stop that narrative. But like, to your point, they need to have a sales goal. Like they need to know where they're going and what the goal is. And as leaders, I feel like this is a bold statement for me to say, but like I feel very passionate about it. As leaders, we cannot expect our teams to perform at a level when they don't know what the target is.
Right. Right. And, if the salon company is having regular coaching, we utilize that monthly sales tracker that breaks down, the guest count, the service sales, and the retail sales that are the goals for every day. And if you don't share that with your front desk team and give them those goals, then they're right. They have no idea what they need to sell for the day, and I like to break it down to units because that's what we call our service providers at, and if it's $400 a day in retail, then that's roughly, if your average product is $40, that's roughly 10 products a day. And I always get, oh my gosh, that sounds so easy, just 10 bottles. Do you know what I mean? But it's really hard for salon companies to hit their goals like that. So I feel like that's the biggest part that should be, in your sales meetings when you are talking about every month, this is our salon service goal. This is our retail goal. This is how many people we need to see every day. Let's focus on that.
I love that you coached that too, especially because it's like, if you have 2 people working that shift at the front desk, that's literally 5 per shift.
Right.
For the whole company. And that's like, and then it's like, what if they did a leader? Like, what? We know leader sales are coming quick, right? That's what's in promotion right now. So right. Absolutely. I love that. I'm going to share if you're not sure where to start with the sales meeting, why you do the sales meeting. It's like Carrie said, like the number one top challenges she hears is communication. I challenge you as leaders to ask your team, your front desk team, even during your PDM. And if you're doing a PDMs and you're like, oh, I don't really know, here's the deal. I'm just going to put a shameless plug in for this division here. All of our front desk division is beyond capable. If you need support there, let us help you. We can go in and do, even virtually, do PDMs for your team. We can do a sales meeting for your team, but not just do it for you. We want to teach you. So let us teach you how to do those things. And it's more of like a see-do. I'll do it. Carrie, LaShonda, Tia, Tiffany, one of our team members would do that for you. You watch it, you see it, and then let us coach you in those moments. You might have us do one, and then the next month we're going to have you do it, and then we're going to coach you around it. Same thing for PDMs. I hear that often with front desk PDMs. Like, I feel like they only last like 6 minutes. Like, I don't even know what to talk about. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's like, okay, well, Let's be a learner of everything and a master of nothing. And if you are not mastering that, then call in reinforcements. We'll be able to help you with it. But here's an example of, if you're like not sure where to start, just start here. If you're going to do it virtually, okay, this is a front desk sales meeting. This would be done virtually. This is the example I'm giving you. 10 slides equal 1 hour. It has to have the slide for them. They need to see, right? So if you're going to do slides, 10 slides equal 1 hour. Keep it 45 minutes to an hour. Keep it visual. Keep it fun. Set your expectations. Meaning this. Hey guys, if you guys were all in my company, I would say this. Welcome to our company. I'm super excited to have you. Here's the things that we're going to talk about. 80-20. For the next year, our front desk sales meetings are going to be the first Sunday of every month. And I would expect you to come to 80% of them. I know life is going to happen. And so when life happens, I just ask that if you're not able to attend, you let me know within 24 hours so that I'm aware, and I will make sure that I send you the recording so that you can follow up to see where we're at, because this is our form of communication. So 80-20. And then we're going to celebrate, we're going to do an update, and we're going to do a temperature check and keep it nice and visual for them. But if you are doing a sales meeting and you're like, man, I can barely get people to even come on, it's like, okay, well, they're unclear about what your expectations are then. That's what that says to me. They're not sure. So if you want people to have their video on, set that at the beginning. So set a reminder. Hey, not only do I want you to be 80-20, but in turn, I'm going to want to make sure that you guys have your cameras on. Okay. So that would be your second phase of that. And then this kind of leads right into that is, how will they know? And it's funny, in my head, I hear like the Whitney Houston song and that, but how will they know? Because they don't know if you don't tell them, right? So we can't have them be mind readers for us. Have we shared with them? What is our follow-up with them? And job descriptions, are they aware of what that job description looks like for them? I think the other piece of this is when you're doing your follow-up with them, asking them questions like we're doing it with you guys on this call today. What are the things that you're learning? What are your top wins? And if they are doing things that you're loving and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really grateful that you're doing that, and I see you, right? Are you celebrating them in a big way? If the answer is no, let's start there. I've said this 1,000 times in salon programs that I've coached. As a service provider myself, as a stylist, I get dopamine regularly, right? Like behind the chair, people are like, I swear, if you ever leave here, I promise all the things, right? I love my hair. When it comes to the front desk, and LaShonda had touched base on this too, are they getting more deposits or are they getting more withdrawals? If the answer is that our team, meaning front desk, if our front desk team is getting more withdrawals than they are deposits, they're getting depleted. And when someone gets depleted, they got crumbs left. And when they got crumbs left, they will never be able to perform or give you any more than what they have to give, because they have nothing left, because their cup is dry, right? So I want us to start to think about making sure that when you're walking up to your team, your front desk team, and even coach your service providers this way, I want you to think, for every one withdrawal, you need to be making 2 deposits into their life. And a deposit isn't like, okay, here's like a gift card to Starbucks. No, a deposit is very simple, as such as like, you killed it. I saw that 4-step check-in, you smashed it. Like, hey, I just want you to know that I noticed that you opened the door for that guest who was walking in with a cane. Like, I know that sounds so simple and so tiny, but it actually makes a very large impact and will definitely directly affect the results that we have in our companies too. And then lastly, I want you to think about your call to action. This is really your guys' call to action that, we wanted this forum to be for you guys, is have a plan for every month. If you need help, reach out. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you. Have you planned for your year for your front desk education? We have in-salon workshops, we have virtual workshops, we have virtual one-on-one customized coaching. And if you haven't, why not? The biggest thing with this I want you to think about is we spend all of this education in our service providers, and I'm not saying don't do that because I think it's super important as one myself. But if you want strong results with your front desk team, we need to pour into our team. And we need to give them the same level of diligence and support that they would when we start to look at them as equals. We will start to get equal results the moment we shift our mindset around that. And if you are like, hey, I'd love to do a complimentary strategy call, one of our front desk trainers can help you. All you have to do is go to summitsalon.com. This is us trainers. Go to our page, and literally all you have to do is click on the button, and it says set up basically a strategy call with one of us, and we will share with you the windows of opportunity that we see that you might not see, that we can help support you in bettering your best. So any last final words, front desk division?
I would like to hear from people in the audience. Was this helpful, or do you have a question about any of this stuff that we've covered? And if it's early, just type it in your chat if you don't want us to hear your beautiful voice.
Yeah, you can totally use that. All right. Perfect. Not really seeing any things popping up in mine yet on anything.
I think it's just taking them a long time to type in all of their stuff.
No problem. All righty. Well, here's what I want us to think about then, with what LaShonda had said is, don't be an individual where you heard all this great content, but you don't do anything with it. So take one or two things from what we shared today with all of you. I hope that you guys found value in your time today, because we can all make our money back, but we will never get our time back. And so I hope you found some value in this content. If this is something that you guys are wanting more of, let us know. You can put it into the Summit Salon community page. We want to provide the things that you need, and the only way that we can provide the things that you need is when you share with us the things that you are needing support in. So thank you guys for your time today. I appreciate it, and more importantly, don't forget to better your best.